Welcome to this explainer on this silent warning, how to survive an earthquake and tsunami. Let's just dive right in. Picture this. You're enjoying a beautiful, peaceful day at the beach. The sun is shining, kids are playing, the waves seem perfectly calm. And then, out of nowhere, the ground just starts to shake. Windows rattle, buildings sway. People start running in absolute panic. And then, just minutes later, the ocean does something completely unexpected. The water rapidly pulls away from the shoreline. It exposes rocks in the seafloor that are usually hidden deep underwater. Now, a lot of folks might walk closer that snap some pictures, but those who recognize this incredibly unusual event, they know something terrifying. A tsunami may be coming. Every year, earthquakes and tsunamis affect communities all around the world. We can't stop them, but understanding exactly how they happen and knowing how to respond, well, that can absolutely save lives. In this explainer, our agenda covers 1. The unseen coastal threat. 2. Recognizing crucial warning signs. 3. Taking action and surviving. 4. Debunking myths and prevention. And 5. Recovery and final thoughts. Part 1. The unseen coastal threat. Understanding the mechanics beneath our feet. You know, the Earth might look totally solid and still to us, but right beneath our feet, these massive tectonic plates are constantly on the move. We're talking just a few centimeters a year, so it's super gradual most of the time. But here's the catch. Sometimes those plates get stuck. The pressure just builds and builds over years, decades even. And when that pressure is suddenly released, the ground shakes. That sudden, violent release of energy is exactly what we call an earthquake. Now, they can happen anywhere, but they're incredibly common near tectonic plate boundaries, like the famous Pacific Ring of Fire. Now, a tsunami isn't just a big wave blown in by the wind. No way. It's actually a series of powerful ocean waves, and they're usually triggered by a massive underwater earthquake, an underwater landslide, a volcanic eruption, or, believe it or not, in super rare cases, a meteorite impact. Unlike your typical beach waves, tsunamis carry colossal amounts of water across entire ocean basins. Out in deep water, you might not even notice one passing by. But as they approach shallow coastal areas, they slow down and grow drastically taller, pushing massive, destructive volumes of water straight inland. Part 2. Recognizing crucial warning signs. Nature's silent alarms. Here's the thing. Nature actually gives us its own warnings. If you're anywhere near the coast and you feel a strong or really long-lasting earthquake, you need to treat that as a massive red flag. If the ocean suddenly recedes way back from the shoreline, exposing the seafloor, do not, I repeat, do not go closer to check it out. Get to higher ground immediately. You also might hear this really bizarre roaring sound coming from the sea. People say it sounds kind of like a freight train or a massive jet engine. Listen, these signs don't guarantee a tsunami is coming, but you have to take them seriously every single time. When in doubt, head inland or up high. Don't wait around for an official alert. So that brings us to a huge question. Can we actually predict earthquakes? I mean, this is probably what people ask the most. And the honest answer? Not with precise timing. Scientists can absolutely point out regions that are more at risk because of known fault lines and past activity. But as for the exact day, the hour, or the specific spot of the next big one, they just can't do it. Researchers are constantly studying earthquake behavior and testing out new early warning tech. But right now, there is absolutely no method for accurate long-term prediction. So definitely be super cautious if someone claims they know exactly when a major quake is going to hit. But hey, even though we can't predict them weeks in advance, some countries do have incredible early warning systems. These systems detect the very first seismic waves and shoot out alerts literally seconds before the really heavy shaking starts. Now, a few seconds might not sound like much, but honestly, it's a total game changer. It gives people just enough time to dart away from dangerous objects. It can automatically stop high-speed trains, pause delicate surgeries, and slow down heavy industrial machinery. As for tsunamis, warning centers monitor quakes, sea level changes, and ocean sensors to blast out evacuation alerts when appropriate. So always follow instructions from your local emergency officials. Part 3. Taking action and surviving. What to do when disaster strikes. Okay, so being prepared is literally one of the absolute best ways to reduce your risk. Experts always emphasize having a solid emergency kit ready to go. What's in it? Well, you'll need drinking water, non-perishable food, flashlights, and extra batteries. You also definitely want a first aid kit, your prescription medications, and copies of important documents safely stored away. Toss in a battery-powered or hand-cranked radio and some backup phone chargers too. On top of that, sit down with your family and map out meeting places and communication plans just in case normal services go down. Look, prep work won't stop the disaster from happening, but it makes surviving and recovering so much easier. So, if you're indoors when the shaking starts, you need to follow the golden rule. Drop, cover, and hold on. Step 1, drop right down to your hands and knees. Step 2, take cover under a sturdy table or desk if there's one nearby. And step 3, hold on tight until the shaking completely stops. Stay far away from windows, heavy shelves, or anything that could come crashing down on you. Now, what if you're outdoors? Try to get to an open area, far away from buildings, power lines, bridges, and trees if it's safe to move. And if you happen to be driving, carefully slow down, pull over somewhere safe, away from overpasses or utility poles, and just stay inside your vehicle until the shaking is over, assuming conditions make it safer than stepping outside. And if you are near the coast after a major earthquake, listen very closely to this part. Do not wait around to see a wave. Move immediately to higher ground or head far inland. And definitely don't go back simply because the first wave looked kind of small. Tsunamis almost always arrive as a series of massive waves over several hours. And here's the really dangerous part. The first wave is not always the biggest one. You have to wait for the authorities to officially announce that it is safe before you even think about returning.
Part 4. Debunking myths and prevention, separating fact from fiction.
Can we actually prevent earthquakes or tsunamis? The simple answer is no. These are huge natural processes driven by the Earth's geology itself. We literally cannot stop tectonic plates from moving. But here's the empowering news. What we can do is drastically reduce their impact. We do this through stronger building standards, tighter emergency planning, better public education, and robust early warning systems. Communities that prepare see way fewer casualties than those that don't. History has really proven this. Devastating events in places like Japan, Chile, Indonesia, New Zealand, and the US have led to massive upgrades in building codes and coastal evacuation plans. We learn from the past to protect lives in the future.
Okay, let's tackle a couple of big myths. First, do small earthquakes always prevent large ones? And second, can animals actually predict earthquakes?
Both of those are completely false. First off, there is absolutely no reliable scientific rule that a bunch of small earthquakes will somehow vent enough pressure to stop a larger event. And as for the animals, sure, people have reported pets acting weird right before a quake, but scientists have confirmed there is no reliable way to predict an earthquake based just on animal behavior alone. And here's another incredibly dangerous myth. The first tsunami wave is always the biggest. In reality, fact check, later waves can be vastly larger and way more dangerous. That's why you literally can never let your guard down after that initial surge. Part 5. Recovery and final thoughts. Coming together after the storm. Once the absolute worst is over, what's next? First things first, check yourself for injuries. You can't help anyone if you're badly hurt. Once you're okay, carefully help those around you if you can do so safely. Stay completely away from damaged buildings until officials inspect them and give the green light. And this is crucial. Only use your phones for actual emergencies, so you don't overload the communication networks. Also, stick to trusted info from local emergency agencies, rather than relying on rumors floating around online. Recovery is definitely tough, but communities always bounce back faster when neighbors work together. Ultimately, earthquakes and tsunamis are powerful reminders of just how intense nature can be. We can't prevent them, for sure, but knowledge, preparation, and incredibly quick action, those things will significantly improve your safety. Knowing the signs, having that emergency plan ready, and knowing exactly where your escape route is, those are real practical steps that every single one of us can take. To quote the experts, being prepared is not about living in fear. It is about being ready. These disasters can't be prevented, but they absolutely do not have to become a tragedy for everyone. The best time to prepare is right now, before the emergency actually hits. So I'll leave you with this thought. Have you ever actually experienced an earthquake or a tsunami? How did you react in the moment? Share your own stories and any safety tips you've picked up along the way in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Stay informed, stay prepared, and above all, stay safe out there.